Okay, folks, we're here in the long dark. This is Babbage-nator. Sorry for my lateness, but yeah, it's been a busy week this week, trying to get projects done before I head out. So, and before the end of the term, right? So, okay, so what do we need to know here? We are warming up here for a second. We have a little bit of coal. We have some cattails. We still have 15 matches. We have a hammer, hacksaw, and that means it is time for us to go. Where are we? Alright, we're at the top, and we've got a little bit of a wind gust problem here. Hey, Rootbeard, good to see you. I have been working on projects all weekend long, trying to get done. I just turned in my second to last project. The last project is a group project, so all I have to turn in is my couple paragraphs, which is not too bad. So we'll get there on that one. That's tomorrow's project. Tomorrow's task is to write up those paragraphs and finish that up. And then I also have some peer reviews I'm supposed to turn in for that class, which she says just write a few bullet points for each one. And I just have been meaning to do it, and I just haven't done it. So, but yeah, term is almost over. I am so looking forward to freedom, being able to be done with these classes. It's not like I hated these classes. The classes were actually fine. There's a point in the semester where you're just like, I am done. I'm just so done. I don't want to work anymore. And this coming week is going to be mark my 4th week working at the new job, and the university payroll office still hasn't added me in, so I still don't have a paycheck. That's just terrible. So I will talk to my boss again and see if she can hound the payroll folk and see if they can get that figured out, why they haven't done it. Luckily, I left myself a little bit of a buffer, so I can weather it out if it's like if it's another week late, I'll still be fine. I don't want to tell them that. I want them to finish up, sort things out, so I'm not left high and dry. And I do have to make a payment for my summer sublet at the end of the month, too, so I want to be able to cover that. Yep. Oh, you'll love this, Rootbeard. File this under things that make you feel really old. I was, earlier this week, I misplaced my umbrella. And I was feeling a little sad because I've had that umbrella for quite some time. And I was telling this to one of my roommates. I said, yeah, I've had that umbrella for a long time. He said, well, how long have you had it? Well, I said, I think I first got it, at the start of my MFA. So that was back in 2004? And he said, he just shook his head. He said, 2004? I was 4 years old. That umbrella is almost as old as me. I thought about it. It was like, yeah, that umbrella is basically the same age as my roommates. Yay. Go campus life. Go campus life as an old person. Yeah. So yeah, that definitely made me feel old. Have an umbrella that is as old as your roommates. I mean, it was a well-made umbrella. I will give it that. The fact it's lasted this long, and I did find it eventually. And here's the thing. The umbrella has like one slightly bent spoke. Okay, it's more than slightly bent. It's a bent spoke at the end. One of them. Just one. And the button release is now a little finicky. It doesn't always work the first try. But, on the whole, that thing held up. You know, it's survived a lot of pretty bad storms, and it's a good size. It's not like this gigantic parasol, but it's also large enough that it covers me and my umbrella, me and my backpack, and yeah, so that's good enough for me. It's not dinky. It feels like it. I'm a large guy. I like a larger umbrella, but not like a gigantic umbrella. But yeah, so I posted it online, and some of my friends were asking, it's like, what kind of umbrella lasts that long? It's like, who made it? And I half jokingly said Vault-Tec, but not Vault-Tec. But if you haven't watched the new Fallout series on Amazon, I don't know. Like, it's really good. I've enjoyed it. I'm ready for the second season already. It does a wonderful job of evoking, like, there's lots of Easter eggs where you look at the scene, it's like, wow, they perfectly recreated, like, this iconic location in the Fallout game, and this iconic location in the Fallout game. But they did it in such a way that it makes sense. You know, it's weird. It's like, yeah, they recreated this iconic location, even though in Fallout you're in Boston. You watched it all on Friday. See? Yeah, it was definitely a bingeable series. 8 episodes. I watched, I think, 3 the first night, 3 the next night, and then 2, like, on the following day. So I didn't quite get... I had other stuff I had to do, but... and I also wanted to pace it out, so I could actually enjoy it more. But I'm also all for, like, an all-day binge. I've done that, too. So what'd you think? Did you like it, Rootbeard? I mean, I'm guessing if you watched all of it, you probably did. Yeah, I know. He does such an amazing job. And apparently he did not play the game beforehand because he didn't want to be influenced by any other portrayal of the ghoul. And so he plays it with such... I mean, that character is so interesting. And by the end of the series, or the end of the season, you're like, there's a lot of... Like, you had guesses. I don't know. I kind of felt like they were like, they're more intertwined. Everyone's more intertwined than they're letting on. But it was really interesting to see how it all played out. I was like, wow. Nice slow burn. Oh, good to see you, Roller. What, you got bear trouble? Cheers. Yeah, so I've been like hunkered down, dealing with. You know. Really, folks? What do you want? What do you want here? Do we stay here or do we push on? Yeah. So Root Beer and I were just talking about the Fallout TV series on Amazon. And how good... What's his name? Walton? Roggins? Yeah. Okay. We need to sleep in a cave. So let's use this cave. Yeah, see, we need to sleep in a cave, so we're left with this problem, which is that, we don't really have another cave to sleep in. Yeah, there's a...
Come on, little fire.
Well, it's not Nick Valentine. That's the thing. He looks a lot like Nick Valentine, but he's actually a different character altogether. But Dogmeat does get a reference in there. They do refer to the dog as Dogmeat, so there's that. There's definitely... There's the Red Rocket gas station that's in the game. Shows up. Which was pretty cool. I was like, I know that gas station. Okay. We need to make more water. I'm guessing we probably do. What do we have for food? Jack Turpentine. Yeah, just a knockoff. Yeah, no. Well, glad we didn't try walking down any further.
This load for much longer.
Okay. See if any new coal mysteriously popped in. Crackers might need fixing. No, we did pick up that many crackers. Anything else? We've been through here a few times. Yep. More coal. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Let me see what's going on here. You're right. There is some weird artifact here. There we go. Thanks for the catch. Oh boy. We'll see if we'll get my full 2-hour stream in tonight or if I'll just crash early and wrap up at an hour and a half instead. To be determined. We'll find out. Okay. So yeah. Well, coming down the home stretch, I've got, let's see, Friday I fly out back to Saskatchewan for a week. So, you won't catch me Friday night. I may hop on sometime during that week, or I might just count it as a vacation. I'm tempted to count it as a vacation. And then we'll be back to streaming as usual, I think, when I get back. It'll be a little tricky. There might be a one-day gap somewhere in there when I move my stuff over to the new place. But it might take me a day to... Actually, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Bedtime stories every... You know, I haven't done that on stream. I do have a children's story I wrote many years ago for friends of mine when it was my D&D DM and his wife were very good friends of mine, still are very good friends of mine, and when they were expecting their first kid, I thought maybe I'll write them a children's story that they could read to the kid. And so disconnects, good, extra credit disputes. You want a dissertate? Okay, we could do that. So anyways, I wrote a little story. Let's see. There's the poetry chapbooks. Where is... I have to go looking for it. But it's called The Littlest Orc. And it is kind of a Christmassy one. But yeah, anyways, that was kind of fun. Write something. It was the first attempt at doing something for children's literature. And there are definitely things like were definitely newbie mistakes. Things that I did that I probably would do differently if I go back and revise it. Talking to some friends that work in children's literature, it's like, yeah, maybe it's a little bit on the long side. And you kind of have like sort of the Hobbit type problem, or not the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings type problem, Tolkien problem, where you like end it like 2 or 3 times. Could be done differently. But on the whole, I like it. I'd read it again. But I do have to track it down, figure out where I put it. I have like the digital copy of it. So let's see. Let's get Astrid to bed here. We'll read something from the dissertation. What would be an unbearable verse? You know, honestly, I'm starting to feel like I might have to expand unbearable verse to include other terrible verse examples I've run across over the years, but then at the same time, I don't dislike shaming people, unless they really, really deserve to be shamed. But, hey Rena, good to see you. Oh, would that be an unbearable verse? Behold a potato. If it's a limerick, maybe. Okay, so anyways, there was a request to read something from the dissertation. So we'll pause here for a second and read something from the dissertation. It's been a while since we've done this, right? Research, dissertation. Oh, my bedtime story has some unbearable elements. There actually is a bear in there. There is a bear in the story. So yes, you could argue that there are some things that are unbearable and some things that are bearable. So yeah, you could make that case. Okay, so let's read something from the dissertation. This is the stuff that puts people to sleep sometimes. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Pull this up. Move this away. Okay, where we're going to read tonight. I think we're going to randomly choose. We've got an introduction and 3 chapters, so let's do it. Let's do it old school style. Let's roll for it. Okay. Well, I don't know if the D4 is going to show up here. We'll see. Yeah, it doesn't show up here. Okay, so we'll just roll it the old-fashioned way here. I rolled a 1. Okay, so we're reading from the introduction. Which, since it's been a while, we might as well read from the introduction. Okay. So this was my dissertation called 19th Century Artificial Intelligences, Thinking Machines, Mechanical Minds, and the Victorian Detective. And this is the introduction. I'll read part of the introduction. When we speak of artificial intelligence, we generally think of it as an idea originating in the middle of the 20th century, not long after the invention of the digital computer, inspired by Alan Turing's 1950 watershed essay, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, and coined as a term by the 1956 Dartmouth College conference organized by Marvin Minsky, John McCarthy, and other early computer and cognitive scientists seeking to explore the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. McCarthy. From the 1950s onward, there was an explosion of literary and film representations of thinking machines, thinking computers, and robots. In post-World War II Japan, Osamu Tezuka introduced the comic book hero Astro Boy, 1952, as an optimistic look at the good a future robot could accomplish. Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, 1956, spawned generations of descendants, including R2-D2 and C-3PO of Star Wars, 1977 fame, and TARS from Interstellar, 2015. Each of which reinforced the trope of robot as helper and sidekick rather than protagonist and hero. Sentient computers also proliferate in the post-1950s artificial intelligence boom. We encounter the brutally authoritarian Alpha 60, who oversees the techno-dystopic city of Alphaville in Jean-Luc Godard's Alphaville 1965, as well as the infamous HAL 9000 from Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968, and numerous other malevolent artificially intelligent computers that offer terrifying and cautionary visions of the future. However, not every computer harbors a malicious mind. Some, like Kit from the old Knight Rider television series, or Holly from Red Dwarf, offered a glimpse at the humorous side of artificial intelligence. Films like Her, 2013, and anime series like Ghost in the Shell, 1995, offer opportunities to consider the nature of the relationship between human and machine and what future issues may yet arise as society comes to terms with the non-human intelligent others we create intentionally or unintentionally as a result of continued advances in programming and technology. The fundamental idea that it might be possible to create an artificial being that could possess a measure of intelligence similar to our own is in fact a very old one. We need look no further than the Genesis account of the creation of man to find a portrayal of Adam as a being created by artifice from inert dust and earth, and given the breath of life and awakened to full consciousness. Myth and literature offer us other examples of non-human beings fashioned out of clay, wood, or metal, and then given life, or the semblance of life, by their makers. Greek legends speak of Hephaestus, the smithing god, who crafted automatons to aid him in his labors. The Talmud mentions the legendary golem, created by 16th century Rabbi Lowe. Robert Greene imagines a speaking brazen head in his 1589 play, Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay. Indeed, elaborate automaton clockwork figures could be found populating royal courts, noblemen's parlors, and church bell towers throughout the Middle Ages and well into the Enlightenment. And yet, for all this prehistory of imagined, rumored, faked, or even actually engineered artificial life, very few of these figures manifested what we might recognize as intelligence. For the most part, automata were projections of a deterministic worldview and embodied a social hierarchy where the machine substituted for the human laborer at the bottom of the ladder. 19th century development of the figure of the machine as a non-human sentient other not only set the stage for 20th century visions and fears about artificially intelligent robots and computers, but offered the machine as a double to the human, a mirror in which the society's unease about belief systems in decline were confronted and explored. This dissertation focuses on a particular combination of historical and literary machines and automata, which was instrumental in challenging and expanding the public's understanding of what might be conceived of as a machine other. Although there were a great many texts and machine figures that might be considered, I will limit the scope of this dissertation to the following real and imagined thinking machines. The Turk, von Kempelen's automaton chess player. Frankenstein's creature, as imagined by Mary Shelley and also as later adapted for stage, Charles Babbage's calculating engines, and Arthur Conan Doyle and Arthur Conan Doyle's logically minded detective Sherlock Holmes. Yay, Kit, yeah. Many deep philosophical questions underlie this dissertation. What does it mean to be human? What traits define us as uniquely human? And have those definitions changed as technology and science have called into question previous definitions of thinking, mind, soul, and heart? Can a non-human become a person? Can thinking and logic be mechanized? And if so, what would the resulting mechanized mind look like? What constitutes a thinking machine? What would the mind of a thinking machine be like? Can a human think like a machine? To address the full ramifications of these questions goes far beyond the scope of this project. But to some degree I hope to acknowledge these questions and the ways in which they drove and changed the perception of what a thinking machine might be, and what to make of a non-human machine intelligence. Okay, so we'll stop there. No, you're almost right. That was about where I was going to stop. So, hey, thanks for the bits, Rena. Oh, so yeah, so that's the intro, which some of you have heard a few times now. But um, really, there's a new Knight Rider coming, Knight Rider table coming to pinball. Okay, um, I think if I feel so motivated at some point in time, I may jump back into the dissertation and do some rewrites. I had a conversation, I think I've mentioned this before. I had a conversation a few years back from someone who works for MIT Press, and they had asked me, we were at a writing and publishing conference, and we were in line, and I just kind of started up a conversation with random people because that's what I do. And so I had this conversation with this person, and she asked, oh, you just finished your PhD. What'd you do it on? And I told her, I said, yeah, I did my PhD on 19th century artificial intelligence. And she said, really? That's actually really interesting. Which is always a trap, right? When people say that, then they're going to get you to talk about your dissertation. Normally, that turns people off. But she was really interested, and she said, if you wanted to take what you have for your dissertation and rewrite it for a popular audience, as opposed to sort of like a dissertation or an academic paper, but rewrite for a popular audience, it's the type of manuscript that would do really well right now. Because there's such an interest in not just artificial intelligence, but the prehistory of artificial intelligence. How did we get here? And although there have been a few people writing about it, there's like, she said like the way I described what I was working on, really was interesting to her as being like a different way of thinking about this, instead of like purely historical, to actually look back at it in a literary and philosophical way about what's happening. So yeah, that I've seen that. I haven't played with that one yet, but yeah, I've heard about there's an AI that's now capable of generating music. Um, and I mean, they've talked about doing similar things in the past. They've also talked about, can we train a AI well enough on a musician's body of music that it could produce it could finish an unfinished symphony, right? Things like that. But I think at the heart of it, like when you're talking about music, art, literature, these are the things that we turn to because we want to encounter the human being. Um, these are not the things that we want AIs to take over, right? Um, there is a mentality among some people that they have a very like transactional relationship with reading and with art, in which they believe that they go there and um they want to just go through a set of steps. This is like they read a romance novel, but they don't care about the quality of the writing. They're there just really for one thing, right? And so they kind of feel like every form of writing, maybe it's an action novel, right? Some sort of like an action thriller. Some of them are written where it's just pulp fiction. It's just there to kind of, it's our century's version of sensational literature, right? And so it's there to kind of inspire sort of like, oh, all this excitement. It's popcorn movies, same type of thing. It's like they're usually not that well thought out, and they are there to like strike certain notes so that you can, have sort of this trajectory. The story has to mean a particular pattern or plot. Yes, those are easy to crank out. You could definitely AI generate romance novels all day long. They would be terrible, but you know what? A lot of the romance novels out there are kind of terrible too. So there's that. But there are also well-written romance novels. There are well-written mysteries and well-written, action stories as well. Um, and the difference between like a mechanically produced one and one that's thoughtfully done and well-written is noticeable. We do notice that. And I think like when we now move into the territory of having AIs producing creative text, it is clear that they are simply reproducing a pattern, but without any nuance and awareness of what they're doing. They're just, I can create something in the shape that looks familiar to a person, that there's a passing resemblance to something they know. But it's not the same thing as something that's artfully crafted, that's thoughtful, that has multiple layers of reveal, right? So that's, yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's where it's a problem, is that if you go in there thinking that, oh, the writer is only there to entertain me and only there to entertain me by checking a list of things that have to happen in a story, then of course you're going to believe that AI can do the same job. But I think there is an argument why it's valuable for people to have some sort of exposure to the humanities when they're like in school, to have art appreciation moments where they just learn to appreciate art. Not because someone tells them to appreciate it, but they actually learn to have a personal, emotional connection with art in some way. And then that teaches them that that there's an actual, like, it's the artwork is simply a mediation between you and another human being, right? You're like learning something about humanity through someone else's wrestling with an art form to deliver something, an experience, an emotion, an idea, and you encounter it through that artwork. And there's an experience that you have where you're reminded that there's a human being that created this thing, right? And maybe it goes beyond your imagination. You're like, how in the world does this even come to be? It's so amazing, this roller coaster I went on. And the ways in which I'm still thinking about how the story reveals itself or unfolds itself in an interesting way. It takes years to really fully unwrap. And I think that's kind of cool when you run into those type of stories that they're just not there for like a quick roller coaster ride, but you're there because you're still thinking about them years later. Like I'd say like Lord of the Rings is like that, and there's a lot of like novels that are like that where you left thinking about things for a long time. Yeah. Okay. What are we doing? We definitely need more torches. Okay, we don't have anything to make at this point.
I'm gonna need.
Led Zeppelin can keep going. Yeah, there's another thing to think about too. Is like one of the things that we want. I guess one of the things that makes art interesting is its ephemerality. The fact that it won't. That there's a limited supply. It depends on the existence of the artist, right? Of the writer. And at some point, they're not going to be around. And so the production of new stories or new artwork or new music comes to an end. And that makes you cherish what you have. If there's like an infinite supply of it, then it feels less valuable. It cheapens somehow everything. It makes you question, if any of it was crafted or was it all just produced, mass produced. But I love sort of the sense of, I think it's part of the beauty comes from the knowledge that it's ephemeral. It's going to pass. Okay. Okay, we've got to run to the other side. Break on through to the other side. 20 days. And we need more torches. Do we have anything else to burn? I think we don't. No, we have coal. We can do that. Hastard was born to run.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Where can I find something to eat?
Oh, you know who has figured out a way to beat mortality when it comes to new releases beyond the grave? YouTube chat got... Oh, hi Joe. Jokey. Okay. Yeah, Prince. Yeah, Prince did that. I think that's wild. That's really thinking ahead. So he has all these unreleased albums that are staggered to come out over time. I think that's amazing. It's just really smart. Yeah, I did see that clip with the attempt to confuse, ask paradoxical questions, and then get chat to admit that it can't, ChatGPT to admit that it can't rationalize or justify any of its arguments. Like, acknowledge that there's a paradox. So yeah, you can mess with it. Okay. Someone's always trying to break ChatGPT. Yeah, and there's that too. So there's definitely been situations where they've gotten ChatGPT to dump things that it's not supposed to have. Well, there's the classic time traveler paradox where you go back in time and kill your grandfather, and then you don't exist. Oh, is it paradoxes or paradoxi? It's paradoxes. we haven't searched this one yet. Okay, let's light up our torch. Or not light up our torch. Let's warm up our teas. That's what we need to do.
Come on, little fire. I need to find some place to escape this cold. Perfect.
Okay, let's see. Grab some extra torches. Let's see where the bear is. So, we are headed to Crumbling Highway and then on to Desolation Point. Keep an eye out for the bear. Try to figure out where he is in his journey. How much metal do we have on us? We still have 7 pieces. Okay. Where's our bear? Not walking over here.
Die if I don't get some food soon.
Oh, there he is. Uh-oh, we're going into blizzard territory.
Did I say I hate being cold?
I
Is
feel like
really
it. I feel like the bear decided to show up as soon as we walked past. But that's not always the case. Okay, let's see if we can get access to the road without running into wolves. Well, we're lucky that these wolves are missing.
Feel numb.
Okay, we're gonna make it past him. Oh.
I think my stomach is eating itself.
Yeah. Well, usually that's what I do, is I keep an eye out for the footprints, and that tells me if I see his paw prints, then I know to be careful. You also check the cave, you know, the bear den, to see if you're walking past the bear den, check and see if there's bones in there. No bones, no bear. If there's bones, it means that the bear could be already spawned in, or he might not be spawned in yet. So, Joe, have you been playing a lot of TLD then? Enough to start using all the abbreviations? Oh, we gotta make it to Crumbling Highway. What's our next cave? 3,000. Good job, 3,000. So we got about the same then. I think I have a little bit over 3,000 now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious now what the official count is for mine. I am officially at 3,156. Not quite 3,200. And I haven't had a chance to play as much this year because I'm back in school, so it's cut into. And I also scaled back. I used to stream like twice a day, or have longer streams. Now I've just kind of settled into like a 2-hour stream is my normal. Did you mean loser or loper? Because I think if it's a loper run, and you die at 592 days, and I don't consider that a loser run at all. I think that's a great run. I mean, my record still is just 303, I think. .302, 303, whatever it is. But I did make it out of. I spent 20 days on Roll With It in Zone of Contamination. After 20 days in the whatchamacallit, Forsaken Airfield. So I count that as a big win that I could survive Zone of Contamination for 20 days on my first visit. I was like so incredibly lucky when I killed that bear. Okay, it's not as bad as it is on the other side. But we will need to make a few more torches, I think. And warm up our teas. Well, I think we can just get away with warming up our teas.
Come on, little fire. Perfect.
Make this quick. Just need the one. Okay. Here we go. No, if anything, it makes me more paranoid about anything. I type in chat when I'm messaging anyone. I always feel self-conscious if I catch myself making if I make a typo of some sort. Typos slip through, or a weird grammar thing. I'm like, oh, that sounded really weird. Well, here's the dirty little secret about language. There is no such thing as one unified English. It doesn't exist. Any language, like English, tends to be in a state of flux, but English especially. And so there's no proper grammar, and there's no permanently fixed like spelling. There's just like conventions people tend to follow this. People tend to do this. People tend to spell things this way or use this word in this situation. But if you fast forward like 20, 50, 100 years, it'll be different. So yeah, people that, get all kind of crazy and policing, whether or not that's the right way to say something.
I'm so hungry.
They don't really understand English. Not like linguistics. Language people understand English as actually much more fluid and flexible. So don't think of it as a mistake. Think of it as being avant-garde. Is there anything we need down here? Left behind? I think we got everything last time. Yeah. Didn't leave any firewood behind. Oh, well. Oh yeah, it's nicely done there. Yeah, the history of English as a language, the English language is in many respects a record of its own. It's it's a record of imperialism, colonialism, and other forms of exploitation and expansion. Because English just assimilates stuff, and it assimilates stuff usually in the context of war. It's a language that is used by most languages are like this, but English especially assimilates as it colonizes and subverts and takes away things and changes their meaning and repurposes it. Yeah, so it's very Borg-like. The English language is very Borg-like. Hey, did we leave anything for ourselves back here? Fish is not even a correct term. That revolutionary spirit, evolutionary. Skibbity Ohio Riz. You just wanted me to say skibbity, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. How are we doing for torches? We're low on torches. How are we doing on firewood? We got one stick. We will pick up more coal as we go through, so let's do that.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
But like as an example of the ways that phrases can change their meaning and become really the opposite of what they once meant. So there's a phrase that shows up in the King James Bible or in other Enlightenment or I guess that's so in the 16th 17th century. You get the phrase by and by. Something happens by and by. And today we think of by and by as eventually, when it gets around to it, by and by. But back in the 16th and 17th century, by and by meant immediately. And so when you read certain things, you're like going, oh, that was supposed to be immediately, but now we think about it as, well, take your time. Eventually this thing happens. It's like, no, it immediately happens. It's not eventually, it's immediately. But that's not how we use that phrase anymore. So, okay, we need a couple more sticks. Will you oblige us? Great Bear, give us a stick. Yeah, that works. All these abandoned torches. They're all make your own stick. But I want a ready-made stick, not a stick I have to make myself. Yes. These sticks. Pre-made sticks. Today's phrase, ate that up, means something completely different. Yeah? Yeah. Have I heard the term acorn? No. I haven't. Is this going to date me? Make me feel really old? I was telling Rootbeard at the beginning of the stream about something really funny that happened to me this past week, where I suddenly realized I'm old. But it had to do with the fact that I had misplaced an umbrella, and I was complaining to one of my roommates that I was like, I've misplaced this umbrella. I've had it for such a long time. I kind of want to find it and figure out where I put it. And he said, well, how long have you had it? And I said, well, I've had it ever since my MFA, when I did my master's. So that would be 2004. He said, 2004? I was 4 years old. That umbrella is almost as old as me. I was like, thanks. Oh, Acorn as a logic processor. I think I saw something about that when I visited the Computer History Museum. Our poor snow shelter collapsed. But we don't need it anymore. What it is again? Let's see. It means a word or phrase that sounds similar, but you can use other words to make the phrase mean the same. Interesting. Okay, 118. Let's make some water here. Actually, we need to make some tea. This one will be water. All these 20s are no good. Riken Bannock. Don't put out our fire. Don't do it. Oh, it looks like they're trying to put out our fire. Yep, trying to put out our fire. Come on, don't do it. Yeah, stuff like that is always troubling, right? When you like realize the word that everyone adopted was actually an insult to the people that it describes. That's why we don't use Eskimo anymore either, because that's considered a derogatory term. Minutes. So what do we get out of that? Didn't get any cloth. We got 2 sticks. Wow, that was pretty useless. Okay, let's see. Torches. We could use more torches still.
This much gear.
Okay, we are at 13. That's not too bad. Okay, let's see here. Mortar guts. Go team. Actually, are we going to need all of them?
This
Might
pack
be
is
able to
getting
leave
too
some of them
heavy to carry.
behind. That's going to get us 2 bows. This will get us, what, 20 arrows? We need more metal. So I think we'll just crawl all the way through to the other side, but we'll camp at the... We'll sleep at the exit to this place. Inside the mine. Not somewhere else. It depends how much light's left. There's not much. How are we looking? There's nothing we can get out of that. Yeah, watching Fallout, the TV show, watch it on Amazon, made me, as soon as I knew the show was about to drop on Amazon, I fired up my copy of Fallout 4 and started playing again. It's like, resumed one of my old saves. It was like, oh, yeah, so good, so really, really good. Yeah. So yeah, and then I went and it took me a couple days to scrape together enough time to watch all 8 episodes, but I got through it all. And yeah, really quite good. Looking forward to the next season. It's been the best thing I've seen on TV for a while, Not that I watch a lot of stuff these days. But yeah, Fallout was definitely an excellent video game to TV show translation. They really, I mean, even, ignoring that, it's just a good show. It's just an interesting, well thought out, well written development. So. I really love how like carefully thought out the whole thing is. Like all the pieces eventually start coming together, and you're like going, "Oh, this is so well structured, so well put together. Nothing's wasted," you know. Oh, so tomorrow, no classes, work. Hopefully, we get a UBC payroll gets around to putting me on payroll, so I actually can get paid. But I know tomorrow's the payday, and I'm still not on payroll, so for almost 4 weeks now. They haven't added me in. Okay, so we are here. Let's take a quick peek out here. It's dark. The weather is not bad. Here we go. We could. We should just move it on. Six a.m. I remember those days. Yeah, the reveals were just great. Yeah. Yeah, I did not agree to work for exposure. I was like, they lured me in with I mean, it is a pretty chill job, you know, as it is. I do like the job. I do like the people I work with. I do like that, like, probably about 95% of what I do is remote work. So I could work comfortably anywhere. If I wanted to work on my my week away, you know, my week on vacation back in Saskatchewan, I could, in theory, work. So I could clock some hours, you know, working through tutorials again, and I think I'm pretty close at this point when it comes to like the Python tutorials and the other tutorials I've been doing. I think I'm ready to actually come up with a project for myself and teach myself that way. So I have to decide what I want to do. I don't feel comfortable billing my hours. If I started going back and working on one of my JavaScript, one of my RPG generators that I wrote in JavaScript, which I am in the process of rewriting, I don't I'm not quite at the point where I feel like I can justify those directly. So I feel like my JavaScript's already fairly decent. It's not, I'm spending time developing a new skill set doing that. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to expense those. But if I worked on a Python project and it happened to be, you know, reading from files, doing some string manipulations, producing a new file, and the example or the data sets that I was using or the example files that I was working with or the CSV files I was working with were RPG related, yeah, I think I could do that. Because I have a lot less experience with Python, so that would be like a good justification. But yeah, I've been trying to work my way through some web scraping tutorials dealing with information or dealing with Internet Archive. So that's been kind of interesting. Acorns. Oh, that's really never heard of. Acorns. What in the world? Oh, if you're gonna send me a link, you're gonna have to whisper it to me. Or I've got to promote you to a VIP and then you can just post stuff in there. Yeah, I can't see the link, it's just, you got turned into asterisks. Ooh. Yep. On my list this week to do tomorrow. A little bit of work, a little bit of hacking, a little bit of get caught up on my last project I have to turn in. I have to do a write-up on why we should use this particular collection management system. So. Alright, thanks for the whisper. I think I see it. So I'll have to check that out. And then, yeah, but hacking. So I recently picked up. So I had before I left. When I moved out here, I brought some clothes with me and some towels and other stuff like that. Vacuum packed in these, these bags with these vacuum. I used the vacuum cleaner back home to do it. But the vacuum cleaner that comes with our apartment is not suitable for using to seal things up with like that. And so I looked on Amazon and I found you can get like a travel vacuum like that for like 15, 16 bucks. I was like, score! That's what I'm doing. And I can vacuum pack the clothes. Like the winter clothes I vacuum packed already. I'm going to leave them in there overnight to make certain it's properly sealed up. If not, I'll have to adjust the seal on it. But yeah, that means like it takes up a lot less room and all the air sucked out. Winter clothes are a good one. Towels and winter clothes, great for vacuum packing because there's so much fluff, like there's so much air in them. You just suck it all out. I think it's late enough we're just going to sleep in the mine. In the morning, we could try cutting across the ice to the whatchamacallit, the lighthouse and then to the Riken. See how weather holds up. More coal! We already have too much coal here. We don't need 33. Actually, we don't need any of it, really. Do we need more water, though? Yeah, we could use some more water. Yeah, so I'm trying to decide what
Come
things
on,
I'm going to
River.
pack up. Like for the summer sublet, I do not anticipate unpacking everything. I think there's a lot of stuff that will probably stay in boxes that I don't need to unpack. Um, and I'm also debating, like, do I box up all my books? Do I box up some of the books and leave the other books out so that I can use them? I think I'm going to do that. Um, I might leave out all my RPG books. And I think all the books that I tend to refer to when teaching poetry. And everything else I think I'll box up. So I might basically box up half of what I have. Might do it that way.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. Six. Okay. So we got two choices. We cross the ice. It's probably most direct. We do that. We want to take enough coal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll do 12. The other way to do it is to cut through Hibernia again, but I don't really see a need to do that. It's extra time. Do we need 6 liters? No, we don't. Alright, we're going to sleep here overnight. There we go. Got porridge. Okay. Ugh, that's not a good sound.
Can you eat trees?
I'm gonna drop the extra water out here. Wow, I can't see a thing out there. Well, so much for that plan to go across the water, or across the ice. Okay. Do we just sleep? Maybe we just sleep. We got no fuel in there. I'm not gonna use that.
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
Nope. What do we want to do here? Do we eat this without getting sick? No, we'll get the headache.
I could eat a horse.
How does it look?
Let's say a lot, because I love horses.
Okay. How close are we to getting our... Far starting 3, we're almost there. Come on, team. I mean, dump all our cattails if we get this one lit, I think.
Come on, little fire. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Alright. Let's add some of this and drop in our teas. How many teas do we have? 2. Well, we can do better than that. Okay, we're going. We're going to go. We're going to go.
God, I could eat a horse.
Yeah. Yeah, good enough. We'll do that. Ooh, foggy. Okay, so I think we're going to push on to the lighthouse. I think, unfortunately, at our current pace, we'll probably just get to the lighthouse. No, we're going to have to push all the way through. I don't believe... Maybe we can. I'm not certain. We might be able to start a fire up at the top of the lighthouse. I think I've done that before. So yeah, I think our goal is to get to the lighthouse this stream. Oh, but we should have gone a different way. I guess we're going to Hibernia. We do have our bedroll with us, right? Yeah. We are on day 21. So I think this is our current personal best for Cave Dweller at this point. We haven't messed up yet. We've been protected by a number of free days and paid holidays, thanks to you guys. So we didn't have to always sleep outdoors. Yeah, I think we should be able to make it to the Riken. truck over there. I'm not going to the truck. Okay, keep on moving. We see the ship now. So I think for this upcoming week, I am streaming tomorrow night for certain. Let me double check the time on Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow I'm good. It's tax day. But yeah. Read a poem. Okay. Tuesday night, I might be a little bit late. Having a meeting with a client. Wraps up at 7:30. I should be on around 8:30, I think. So pretty close to my usual time. Then Wednesday night, I have a meeting with my composer, which could either be a shorter meeting or a longer meeting. Let's see. No, actually, I think Canada's tax day is at the end of April, but I filed early, so I'm done. Figured it'd be less stressful to file it at the end of March than to deal with trying to do my taxes while also trying to finish my projects. Just like, that does not seem smart. Okay. Okay. Oh, we haven't visited here yet. Oh, there's a chance we might get some extra stuff then. So, we got some extra cloth, so we'll be able to make our both handled things. Fine. Our handles are handled. Yep. So we'll probably break down these guys. Mm-hmm. You do your taxes as soon as you get your documents?
Nobody needs this anymore.
I usually wait a few weeks just in case there's anything that comes in that I missed. Because as a writer that does a fair bit of independent contractor work, yeah, you sometimes get little surprises. You're like, oh, I forgot I got, you know, you check your spreadsheet and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I should be expecting that, but you might forget about it. Okay. Nothing else. Oh, we got another thermos. Don't need two. Decisions. Okay. Okay. I really want to get to cooking 3, not
Come on,
cooking, fire
little fire.
starting 3 here. Go on, you can do it, Astrid. Astrid, you can do it.
Perfect.
Huzzah, we did it. Okay. We don't need 2 of these, so let's drop that one. You can drop this one too. Okay, we no longer need these guys. There it is. Any scrap metal? Nope. Okay. We got some daylight. 1 hour 30. The food just fall apart. Can we eat it? Risky, huh? Okay, so how much metal do we have now? 13. So where are we at here? We need... do this right. We need 3, 8. So 8 for hatchet and knife. And then we get 2 for each of these. So right now we are 5. Get 10 arrows if we went right now. We need more metal. Yeah, that didn't work. Took too long. Oops, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back upstairs. Sleep upstairs outside, either in the cabin or in the on the deck. Let's sleep upstairs. -3.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
Now we got to remember not to use all the coal. We have to leave enough coal that we can keep our forge going long enough to do what we need to do. Okay. Three. 8 hours. We can do that. So 8, at least. Let's do. Alright. Astrid, time for nap. Nap time, Astrid. 8 hours. We'll sleep for 5. Did the fire go out? Fire went out. Figures.
I've never felt so cold in my life.
That's why this is not the ideal location. I always think that that one's going to be safer than this one, but this one's actually better. How much time do we have left? So yeah, if you build the fire over here, you can sleep on the deck, and this fire never goes out. So, just a little... It's kind of unexpected that this will work out better than the one up there. But yeah, this one is generally safe. Weird. Okay. Did we loot this yet? I don't think we looted this yet. No, we did. I already went through. So there's a metal or wood that we missed earlier. Okay. Let's see. We'll go upstairs. Sleep on the deck. Okay. Oh, I think I owe you guys a poem still, so... Let's do that before I forget. I'll just add torch. Wrap-up poem. Okay, we'll do it as a wrap-up poem. Oops. Oh, there's a bear down there. He's grumbling. Can't do anything about it, though. Yeah, let's recover a little bit of energy here. Do you love that? You can hear the bear out there. We're close to nature. Oh, we gotta stay inside. Okay, thank you. Just be glad the bear can't figure out how to get on the deck. So yeah, our goal here is to get another hour's sleep in. Then we'll go downstairs. Next stream we'll go down and we'll forge.
Ah, I'm starving. Walk with this much gear.
Like fishing with tip-ups here? Yeah, that would be a smart idea. I don't think we've done that yet, but... Bear's long gone. Okay. So... we're just going to wrap up here by going in. But yeah, so this is forge time. We'll have to break some crates to get some more firewood. We have to tear down a few more shelves, but we are on our way. Day 22. And we made our trip back to CRH and DP. We're doing a roundabout way here, but this is good. And we've got a new lifeline. Perfect. So we got one to use.
Looks like a new day is dawning.
Yeah. When I leave this place, I always leave from the top. I rarely leave out the bottom, just because I don't want to accidentally run into the bear. From the top, I can see the bear coming. Okay, so that's where we're wrapping up for now. We'll pick this up tomorrow night. Let's go read a poem. Let's see who we can, or what we can read, and then where we'll go. Poem chooser. I choose you. Postcard from Taipei. Okay, that's going back a ways. This is from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight. Winner of the Philip Levine Prize for Poetry, published by Anhinga Press in 2008. Which is newer than my umbrella. And I don't have any roommates that are as old as the poem. So I guess we're good. Let's see. So, we'll read this. Postcard from Taipei. Okay. Pull up the glasses here. So our final poem for the night is Postcard from Taipei. In the absence of let me try that again. In the absence of a train, I wait for the distant hum of the rails, the slow sun's return, even a voice to name another voice. Everything dim, I search the city's haze for a discernible line, for something that moves, for anything to hold. The names of Buddha, ink brush on rain-polished steps, beetle nut and blood, the yellow-robed monks sleeping. All morning this silence, this pervasive stay of the world. The walls are still, the clouds are forming pearls, lost luggage twice bound with twine and ribbon, contents unknown, sits to my side, anxious for reunion. For something akin to what we want from longing, what we dream mid-journey in the silence of cars, the rattle of steel frames, the substance of sleep, the tin roofs sounding in the wind, what I recall of beauty. So the inspiration for the poem was a memory of, I spent 2 years in Taiwan when I was 19 to 21 as a missionary, and so I spent a lot of time in different parts of Taiwan, mostly urban settings, but occasionally out in the countryside. This was in Taipei, obviously, and so this big, bustling metropolis. Now, occasionally, I think I was on the platform waiting for a train. I was being transferred to a new area, and I had to catch the train super early in the morning. So it was before morning rush hour, and it was dead. There was just practically no one there, which was very unusual. And there was kind of a light fog over the area too. And so it had this whole dreamlike quality. And then looking over, who was there, I could just see these traveling Buddhist monks, and I could see someone's luggage that had just been abandoned, probably lost, found on the train, dumped on the side, not picked up yet, things like that. So the interesting thing about the poem is that I actually wrote this in the opposite order. The poem began with what I recall of beauty, the tin roofs sounding in the wind, the rattle of steel frames, the substance of sleep, what we dream mid-journey in the silence of cars, or something akin to what we want from longing, lost luggage. So it went backwards. And I remember, like, I reached a poem, like, at the end of the poem is, like, in the absence of a train, I wait for the distant hum of the rails. And I was like, I'm a little bit less satisfied with how this poem is working out. Like, I thought there were parts of it that were really interesting. The phrases were interesting. The images were interesting. But something about it just didn't work. And on a whim, I decided what would happen if I read it backwards, if I read the lines roughly in reverse order. And it changed the whole poem. I was like, you know what? This makes it a much more interesting poem, where it takes a long time for us to arrive at what I recall of beauty. Because I think if you begin there in the abstraction, it's as if the speaker is telling you, these are the hallmarks of beauty. This is what this experience is. And it puts it in a box and says, this is what it is. Now I'm going to tell you about it. Versus if you experience all the details first, and then are trying to figure out how to articulate it. What is this thing that's being experienced? And then you arrive at the end, and the speaker finally tries to name it. To me, that's more interesting. So I think, like, that's one of the reasons in the process of revision, sometimes I tell people, what happens if we start from the end and read it backwards? Is there something that you were holding on to at the very end that actually is the best place to start? And the thing that you started with may actually be the thing that you want to reveal at the end. So, yeah, so exactly. There's like a way in which, you interchange the parts and you discover that it works, and it might even work better, that it's not completely transitive, in that particular way, but it actually affects a change if you shift the order of operations around. Yeah. So, anyways, that's a little bit from the Lost Country of Sight. If anyone's interested in reading more about that, I think this is Lost Country, has a link back to my website and more information about the book, and links back to the press that published it, as well as Amazon. Yeah. What else can I say? What else can I say? But you're welcome. No. Thank you. Thank you is what I could say. Thank you for being a part of tonight's stream and for hanging out with me. Thank you for requesting poetry and dissertation and even let's see here. I think I have to add in, let's see, Kane. We have to make certain that we add that in. You have been a sponsor for the third time. And just make certain we don't lose that. We'll just step back inside again. Good. Now it's saved. Okay, so we will go find someone to raid. Let's see. Okay, let's find someone to raid here. Okay, so Deadpool is on break. Slid Holmes is possibly on break. Where is everyone? Why is no one on? Well, Slid Holmes is wandering around. Okay, so let's go visit Slid Holmes, I guess. Okay, we're going over to visit Slid Holmes, who is doing the Great Bear Aurora bear hunt. That's a lot of bears. Yep, we'll be back tomorrow night for more fun and games and forging. Okay. Slid Holmes. Next up is Slid Holmes. And next up for me is bedtime. Bedtime for Babbage and Aner. Thank you for hanging out. We will see you again soon. Okay, and I think we're ready to go. So let's head on over. Thank you all. And thank you, Minty Fresh.